Okay, in order to do the slip stitch, I want you to practice a little bit. If you notice, I just took another scrap and I folded it in half, and then I tuck the two ends just so they meet each other. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to put a pin in there to hold that. And if you notice, that looks a lot like this, which is where we're going to sew it up on your mask. Now, one of the things that often happens is when I try to teach students how to close this up, they use a whip stitch instead of a slip stitch. And a whip stitch just goes around and around, okay? Around and around and around and around. And so it'll make big stitches sticking on the outside. And I've had kids do that and have stitches that are like, you know, 1/4 of an inch big, which is pretty big for a hand stitch on the outside, and it looks really messy. So I want to do a slip stitch for you, and it is it should be mostly hidden. Now mine's going to probably show up a little bit because I am using black thread, but you probably should be okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to I'm going to start by going inside the 2 layers because I want the knot hidden. And I'm going to tuck the knot down because sometimes it'll stick out. We're going to go right in that spot right there. We're going to start right in there whenever you do it on your actual mask. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go straight back, and I'm going to go kind of a slant through. I want to go a kind of slant from the back through to the front, and I'm barely catching the edge. All right. Now I went straight back from where my thread came out before. I'm going to go straight back in the tunnel, barely catch the opposite edge. And these do have to be small or else it'll come apart. All right. I'm not going around and around. I don't want to do that because they'll all show on the outside. So straight back, go into the tunnel and go at a slant towards the front and barely catch the edge. And pull it tight. Now you can see mine a little bit because they are black. If I were using this kind of pale green, then you wouldn't be able to see them at all. I'm going to do about 3 more, and then I'm going to show you how to tie the knot. Okay, so straight back, I'm going at a slant through the tunnel, the back tunnel, and up through the edge of the front. Straight back, add a slant, I'm telling you, this always works so much better for me when I can hold it up closer to my face and I don't have to worry about being in the frame of the camera. Because stitching my mask together didn't take that long, really. It was pretty easy. Okay, so straight back, add a slant. I'm going through that back tunnel, add a slant towards the front tunnel. I'm barely catching that edge. And one more, and then I'm going to tie a knot. So straight back, through that tunnel, barely catching that edge. And now what I'm going to do is to tie the knot, I'm going to get rid of the pin because it's in my way. To tie the knot, I want to take a little tiny stitch through both edges. Really, really close to the top. I do not want it to, I don't want a big whip around. I want just a little tiny one, okay? And remember, to make a knot, we have to hold on to that loop so it doesn't pull too tight too fast. I'm going to go through the loop once and twice, and I'm going to be careful and pull it carefully, carefully, carefully all the way down to the edge right here. Okay, so my knot is right there. Now, I don't want to cut this thread right here because then I'm going to have a little thing that's sticking out. But what I can do is go in between the two. So you're going to be going between the two edges of your mask. It's not sticking out the other side. It's sticking, it's just going through in between. And then I'm going to pull my thread tight. Okay, And then I'm going to take some scissors and clip that off. And now that tie it's at least 1/2 inch long, it's hidden inside, and it's not going to show. And if you notice, you can barely see those little stitches, even though I use black thread on this green fabric. Okay, so I'm going to tie my knot again. I have it, my piece should be long enough. I'm going to tie a knot again, and I'm going to get started on my mask, and then I am going to let you practice on a scrap for yourself, and then you can stitch yours together. Okay, so first thing, I got a thread. And before I do anything else, I'm going to clip that thread off so it does not get caught in anything. And I'm going to stitch this direction, but I want to start out by being right in that corner. Okay, so right at the very beginning of that, I want to go in between because I want to hide my knot. And I'm kind of going back to the beginning. All right, so I'm kind of going back to the beginning. And I want that knot really, really hidden down inside. So remember, I'm going straight back through the back tunnel, add a slant so it barely comes out the front tunnel, pull it flat. Now again, you don't want to pull too tight on this. You want to just pull it flat. It shouldn't be sticking up, but if you pull it too tight, then you're going to have puckers. So straight back through that back tunnel, add a slant, pull it flat, straight back. I'm going to do 2 more after this one. Through that back tunnel, barely catch the front, and pull it flat. Okay, straight back through that back tunnel towards the front. And these things need to be little. They need to be somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. And if you don't know what that is, get a ruler out and check it. Last one I'm going to do, and then you're going to do it on your own. Back through the back tunnel, barely catching the front, and then pulling it flat. So I need to make sure that I come all the way over to where my hand stitching that I did on the inside is done. So I'm going to come all the way over here, and if I want to, I could put a pin right there just to remind me that that's how far I have to go. And I have a couple more inches to do. And when I get over there, remember, do that knot like I showed you before. If you don't remember, go back and take a look at the video again. And when this part is all done, we only have a couple more steps to do, and then our mask is completely finished. See you later. Bye for now.